Welcome to the Bear Talk, your go-to Chicago Bears podcast, where a father and son break down all things Bears. From Soldier Field to Sunday showdowns, I'm your host, Dylan Weaver, and as always, joined here by my dad. Another Bears victory, Dad. Send Aaron Rodgers back to Pittsburgh, even though he didn't play. Bears, 6 defensive starters missing. They prevail. The offense does their part. The defense, when they needed a stop at the end of the game, they get a stop. I mean, wow, man. 8-3, like you said, first time since 2011 the Bears have been 8-3. It's a good time to be a Bears fan.
It's a great time to be a Bears fan, and not to mention it's probably a good time to be a cardiac doctor in Chicago and across the country, because Lordy mercy, these Bears, I'm glad with the 8-3, but can we just win one decisively, like in the first half, so I don't have to be on pins and needles monitoring my blood pressure throughout the whole game? Because it's intense. These games are intense. Caleb Williams, arguably one of his best games he's had. Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, you name it. And that Swiss cheese of a defense. Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, who would have thought? And like you said, linebackers playing out there today, that this might be the only time they ever play a game in the NFL, like actual linebacker snaps. They might be running around on special teams making plays, but this probably be the first and last time of them out there taking some linebacker reps. But hey, like the announcer said, we'll get to the stat sheet, but a bunch of these linebackers are leading tacklers, and they came in and did their job. I mean, they really did. There wasn't the run game for the Steelers. It was pretty good. They were getting some pretty good chunk plays, but the passing game, they weren't able to throw the ball anywhere down the field. The only way they were able to was with some pass interference calls. But I mean, the defense deserves their credit just because how man down they were. I wouldn't have been surprised if the Steelers scored 40 points today in this game with the injuries we were dealing with, but there's definitely a couple of good defensive players like Montez Sweat, Nashon Wright. Those are the two that stick off top of my head. I mean, amazing games from those two. And you know what? Let's start the show off like this. I seriously do think, and I know you are a Tyreek Stevenson guy, I legitimately think there is a case when Jalen Johnson gets back that Nashon Wright can be the other corner on the other side, because this guy, he gets turnovers. He may get beat a couple of times, but he has a nag for that football. And half the times, it's him jumping over these receivers and high pointing a football.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. As I was watching the game today, and obviously he had another interception, but I go back to week 1, right, when we were worried about the defense, and we're like, Nashon Wright, what is this guy? Practice squad player the year before with the Vikings. And every game, it just seems like he finds a way to win. And, like any person out there in the world, you're always trying to make the most of the opportunities you're given. And he has made the most out of his opportunities on this Bears team in the 2025 season. I think you're right. I mean, I love Tyreek. I've been a Tyreek guy since the very beginning. I think he's going to have a turnaround season from last year. And he's played some good ball. But I think
there is a legitimate argument.
I think you're right.
There's at least an argument for it to be said. And not only an argument, Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson are talking about it. They know Jalen Johnson's about to be back. And they're having these conversations, especially when he can. Not only now is he tied with Kevin Byard in the league leading interceptions, he is solo in takeaways with forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and interceptions. Now he leads the NFL. This guy is always around the football, making plays when they need to be made. I mean, think about it too. The one that jumps off my head, who jumped on that fumble in that Commanders game to give us the ball to go kick that field goal? Nashon Wright. I mean, and the interceptions every week, it's like the one last week, the one he had where he jumped over Jordan Addison to pick it off of J.J. McCarthy. I'm like, oh, he ain't ever topping that. Opening drive of the game, one hand snag, toe tap. I mean, this guy might need to be a receiver.
he is kind of built like a receiver, though. If
He's
you look
6'4", yeah. He's 6'4".
6'4". He's a little lanky, and not
great hands.
Yes, great hands. I mean, thank goodness we got him. I don't know who the scout was, or Ryan Poles, or however we decided to take him off that practice squad from the Vikings. But what a great addition to the Bears team, because without him and the turnovers he's created throughout the year, we wouldn't be winning these games, especially these close ones.
Yeah. And I just think it's important we talked about it, because I do think it's a legitimate argument. Like, there's a lot of different things that are going to take place. They're trying to fit. They got a bunch of different options. They obviously picked up C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got him and Kyler. I mean, there's a lot of talks that are going to be happening this next week, because, like we said, next week you got the Eagles. It's going to be a big game, and I
don't know why everyone keeps saying next week. It's literally in 6 days.
Yeah, 5.
I mean, it's
in 5 days. Yeah, 5 days.
That's it. I mean, we just finished football on a Sunday afternoon, and we're gonna, I think like the Bears will probably do. They're in the locker room. They're handing out some game balls. They're giving a little good, better, best
game plan tomorrow.
And then guess what? Short-term memory, forget about it. You got to look at the roster and who's healthy and who's not, because we had more injuries in this game too. But Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen got to be going, we only got 5 days. Put some icy hot on them. Let's get them back out on the field on Friday.
Yeah, and just speaking of, I know we talked about Nashon Wright. I want to talk about one more player before we hop in these stats. Let's talk about Ozzie Trapillo. Another guy, first start he had to make this year, because Theo Bennett was ruled out with that quad injury right before the game. And like we've talked about, as an O-lineman, you don't want to be talked about, because if they're talking about you, that means you're holding, false starts, you're getting blown by. We didn't have to hear his name once, so I'm curious to see what his PFF grade comes out to. But, I mean, for the most part, just by watching the game, it looks like he held his own and did a pretty good job, because before coming into this game, the Steelers edge rushers, T.J. Watt and the other guy, his last name starts with an H, I forget his name, but they led the league in pressures and the quickest amount of time.
Heiberg.
Yeah, but, I mean, with Trapillo out there, it looked like he held his own today, and you love to see that from a second-round pick as well.
Yeah, what was funny is we're both watching the game today, and we're kind of, all of a sudden, both of us at the same time, you're like, who hasn't been talked about today? And we're both like, Trapillo. He played a great game. I mean, and this is a guy who they were talking about, can't play left tackle. They kind of got real quiet on him, that he was going to be just the right tackle for Darnell Wright, and potentially, a plan down the road as they move Darnell Wright over to the left side. But he did his job today. Did his job, protected Caleb, and against some of the best, right? I mean, we saw the stats on the screen with T.J. Watt and the number of sacks he's had throughout his career, and Trapillo did a great job.
Yeah, great job today from him. Definitely curious to see. The run game wasn't as strong today, so maybe that is the benefit of having Theo Bennett in there, because he is a really good run blocker. A lot of pulls they use with him. He's very athletic on his feet on the outside, getting to space and running linebackers over. So we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to shout out Trapillo as well, because I thought, like you said, when linemen's names aren't getting talked about, that is a good thing, and that means you're playing a pretty good game. And I don't think we heard his name mentioned once, which is great. And lastly, before we hop into the stats, I just want to give a little brag about myself real quick. In our pregame show, I did say in my score predictions, the Bears would win this game 31-28. And the final score today, Bears 31, Steelers 28. I mean, if only I just put some money on the sports books. But you know what? I was seeing the game. I read it too. I said Caleb's going to have a good day today, lead this team. And, I mean, I was pretty spot on with it for sure.
Yeah, you absolutely did call out a good game. And I'm going to be honest, and everyone watched the pregame show, I wasn't feeling very optimistic about this game, especially with all the energies. I was wrong. I think I've said it before. When I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, and I was wrong for this game, because I didn't have a high-scoring game. I had a very low-scoring game. I had the Bears winning, but not the confidence game like you did. And, in the very beginning when Caleb gets sacked with the strip, and then the Steelers recovered for the touchdown in the end zone, I thought, well, at least I didn't have my hopes too high. But as the game went on and he started to sling that rock down the field, and some receivers were catching the ball like they should, it then turned into some hope there. So and ultimately they got the win, which it's 8-3.
Yeah, it's 8-3. Like you said, you don't complain. We did kind of flip-flop roles. Usually you're the optimistic one, and I'm the one that's always hanging on the fence about, I don't know, this matchup scares me. We flipped roles this week, and it still worked out. Bears find a victory, like you said. They move on to 8-3. You're not going to complain. A win's a win. And by the way, too, for all you haters out there, oh, the Bears can't beat a 500 team. They haven't beat one of them. Well, guess what? Well, now we're 1-0. Oh, not 1-0, but we beat a 500 team this season, and you haters take that. The Steelers defense has been playing great ever since Jalen Ramsey got moved to safety 3 weeks ago. They've been shutting people down. They looked a lot different. And today, I mean, yeah, their defense didn't look too great to me. I mean, nothing really scared me out of them. And I mean, for all the haters, like I said, the Bears won a 500 team, so what's the excuse now going to be? What's next? I mean, we know one's coming around the corner. The Bears, for 2 weeks in a row, get to be the kings of the North, remain in first place now 2 weeks in a row, and we'll see what happens next Friday.
Yeah, what's going to happen next is they're going to say, oh, now you're playing a real team like the Eagles. They're the Super Bowl champs. I don't know.
No, this is what this excuse is. I actually know what it's going to be. It's going to be, well, Aaron Rodgers didn't play the game, so it doesn't count. But you know what? If you want to go check all of Steelers Twitter before this game. There was a bunch of that fan base, the majority of it, saying they wanted Rudolph to start over Rodgers because the offense actually looked like it was starting to throw balls downfield. And granted, it wasn't happening today, but they wanted Rudolph to start over Rodgers. A lot of people did. So guess what? You can't get both sides. Pick a side and stay on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even if Rodgers did play this game, the Steelers probably wouldn't have had as many points as they did, just due to, one, we know the mobility issues of Rodgers, even prior to the injury. But then you throw the injury in the mix, messing with his mechanics of being a QB. I think at that point, then I don't think the Steelers score as many as they did. But so I'm glad we got Mason Rudolph, so that no one can say, oh, you beat a wounded duck, Aaron Rodgers, whippity-doo. Again, a win's a win. We're taking it. It's 8-3. We got a lot to be thankful for on this Thanksgiving week with our Bears, and giving us, some exciting things to talk about. And not only exciting things to talk about, exciting things to think about, the implications of this win and what it means further down the line. Now, you mentioned 2011 and 8-3 is the last time we've done it, right? And I don't want to poo-poo on anyone's parade here, but if you went back and looked at the stats of that season, we finished the season, though, 8-8. So hopefully it's not a repeat of the 2011 season, and we keep going on. And even during the game, right? I mean, I think if you watch the game locally, or even, it wasn't like the big game of the week, but you looked at all those stats for the Bears and how many categories that offense was ranked first in. I mean, when's the last time the Bears offense and the word first comes out of it? Maybe first to lose, or first to throw an interception, or first to fumble the ball. Not first in, yards per game and things of that nature. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of what you just brought up, shout out, I believe it was a CBS crew today on the Bears call of the game, and they brought it up. The Bears, the last time the Bears finished this season, which we still got a 6 games to go now, but the last time they finished as a top 5 offense ranked, it was in 1977. The Bears are currently sitting at the 4th best offense when they add up all the key metrics. And after today's game, it might go up a little bit more. They were moving the ball. This is the other thing that just blows my mind with this team. Every game we're seeing new ways of winning. We haven't really seen, the Cowboys game, yes, we saw Caleb win the game in the passing game, but we haven't seen the passing game really win win a football game for us outside of that Cowboys game. Here's another one. The passing is the reason we won this game. I mean, let's hop into it like we always do with the stats so we can kind of talk about it. First, we'll just go over the team stats today. For the Bears, 328 total yards of offense, 2 turnovers. Caleb had a pretty bad one today. And then obviously the DeAndre Swift fumble, which should have been blown dead for forward progress. But you know what? Whatever is what it is. Luckily, the Steelers had 2 turnovers of their own, so it doesn't really bite us in the butt. First downs today, 19. Penalties, got back up there a little bit this week. 7 penalties for 83 yards. Third downs, 7 for 13, over 50%. That's a good. Fourth down, 1 for 1 today. Red zone. We've been talking about it, Dad. Red zone, we got to stop kicking field goals. 3 for 3 in the red zone today, all 3 resulting in touchdowns. And the Bears...
hold on. And the Steelers are a top red zone defense. I talked about it in the pregame. And we scored touchdowns on them.
3 for 3. Yeah.
Don't say this is another lucky win by the Bears. And if it is a lucky win, I'll take luck any day. Yep. I mean, just take it.
Yep. At this point, you just got to roll with what they say and just laugh right back in their face. Keep the excuses coming. We'll take the punches and we'll keep winning football games. Last key stat for the Bears team, which is interesting. We got dominated in time of possession today by a whole 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. The Steelers outpossessed us, which it does kind of make sense. They were really short. It was just dink and dunk down the field. Nothing really explosive outside of pass interference calls. So we'll take that especially. But the main part that everyone's interested in, they want to see the box score. A lot of people that aren't Bears fans do this as well and try to judge the team. They don't watch the game and they go look at a box score and determine if somebody played good or not. We'll start with Caleb today, 19 for 35, 239 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have that forced fumble that resulted in a defensive touchdown for the Steelers. 1 sack today, pressured 10 times. That 1 sack came on that touchdown that he gave up when fumbling the ball. It was TJ Watt, who did end up passing his brother today in his career sacks. But 104 rating for Caleb Williams. Not too bad for a quarterback that, can't throw the ball and isn't a good football player. When it comes to the rushing, 25 attempts today for 99 yards. Like I said, the rushing, it really wasn't there today. There was not really any big chunk runs. I think Kyle Monunga had a couple early on, but other than that, it was pretty hard to run the ball today. And Luther Burden actually made up for 20 yards of it on that little reverse sweep they did. So really, you're looking at about 70 rushing yards between the running backs. And Caleb Williams also accounted for 20 more yards. So really, you're looking at 50 rushing yards out of 20 carries. Kyle Monunga had 12 today for 48 yards and a touchdown. And then DeAndre Swift, 8 carries for only 15 yards today. Rough outing for DeAndre Swift today. But Kyle Monunga was there to pick him up when we needed it. Let's hop into the receiving. 19 catches today for 239 yards and the 3 touchdowns. Obviously, DJ Moore had 2 of those. He finishes at the top on the receiving end. 5 catches today, 64 yards with 2 tutties. Rome Odunze, 3 catches, 53 yards. Wow, Rome had 3 catches but had 9 targets. There was a couple of misfires on Caleb's fault, and then once again a couple more drops on Rome's part. Colston Loveland, another good game for him. 4 catches for 50 yards. You love to see that. He doesn't need to get 60 and 80 yards a game, but if we can get him in between the 45 to 60 range, I'll take that every week. Early on in the season, it was 20, 25 yards. Now that's where we can't have it, but another good game from Colston. Luther Burden as well, 3 catches, 46 yards. Ball was getting spread out a lot today. Love to see that. And then when it comes to the defense, we can talk about it. Obviously, we talked about it at the top of the show. Nashon Wright having a big game with that one-hand interception. He also was all over the field making tackles, big-time tackles, being in the right spot. He had 6 tackles today, 2 pass deflections, and an interception. So good for him. Just looking at it, too, the 2 linebackers, like I said, that stepped in are at the top of this board. DeMarco Jackson, 15 tackles, leads the team today. And Amen Ogbongbemiga, 14 tackles. The two linebackers that had to come in, hey, they might have given up yards, but at least they were tackling. It was good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and think about it too. How many games has our linebackers led in tackling? We've talked about that opportunity throughout the whole year.
It's been the whole time, pretty much. With Tremaine.
Exactly. So you think about these two, basically taking advantage of their opportunities and coming in and going for it. So good for them and what they did. And obviously it led us to a win.
Yeah. No, and it sucks too that we didn't get to see more of Ruben Hippolyte. He went down early, but obviously, yeah. I'm just saying, though, from our perspective, we did draft him in the 4th round, and it would have been cool to at least see him because he's probably once Tremaine and TJ are back, and then you obviously have Noah Sewell. We're not really going to get to see a bunch of him. So it would have been cool to see him play a little bit more, but he went down with an injury as well and never came back. Yeah. Obviously, when it comes to the sack today, Montez Sweat, we only had 2 sacks today, and Montez Sweat had both of them. And he also, on one of the sacks, had the strip sack that the Bears ended up recovering. So great job by Montez today. Didn't have a sack last week, kind of makes up for it. I think he's now at 8 sacks on the season. That's good. What we need Montez to be is in double-digit sacks come the end of the year, and he's well on pace for that. That's what we're paying him, to go get double-digit sacks. He should have had 3 today if he wasn't worried about ripping Mason Rudolph in a circle and throwing him to the ground. If he would have just tackled him normally, he would have had another sack in there. But Montez Sweat deserves it. He had a good game today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else had a good game today?
Dennis Allen.
No, you.
Oh, okay.
Called the score. You called the players of the game. And then watching the game with you, all the things that you would see before the play would even evolve. You knew what they were going to do when DK was going on a slant route. You knew when Jalen was Warren was going to run the ball. Impressive.
Called a screenplay in there too.
Yeah, it was impressive listening to you and the football knowledge that you have as we were watching the game together. So kudos to you. Proud of you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I know some. I'm invested on a heavy basis. Yeah. I mean, outside of work and playing some video games, this Bears team I focus on a lot. I do a lot of research. So, but yeah, I mean, I love watching the Bears. I love doing my research, and I nailed this game right on the head for the most part. It was definitely a good game, but let's hop into it. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the offense, or you want to start with the defense?
Start wherever you want.
All right. Well, let's start with the offense. They definitely pulled through and won us this football game. And like I said in the pregame, Caleb Williams was going to have a good day. I had him at 300 yards with 4 touchdowns. Definitely had the chance to do it. We obviously had the rushing touchdown, but at the same time, the last couple drives we had to put the game away. Rome Odunze dropped the ball on the sidelines that killed the drive, stalled it out. Caleb Williams also did have one bad delay of game late in that game and ended up coming down 4th and 1 where we had to punt the ball. So I feel like Caleb could have easily got to the 304 touchdowns because he was at like 220 to start the 4th quarter. He definitely had a chance to do that, just between misfires and throws, and then on top of it, the drops that continue to happen, self-inflicting wounds, kind of set that back. But I still think Caleb played a good game today. Outside, like I said, the one bad play was that you got to know who you're messing with. It's TJ Watt. I know you've been scrambling away from people, but when you're in it's one thing too if you're scrambling outside the end zone and you take that sack, whatever, but you got to realize you're in your end zone. That's not a time to be doing your dancing around, especially with TJ Watt, who has been a multiple-time defensive player of the year in the NFL. You got to know who you're going against. But outside of that play, I thought Caleb still has accuracy issues, and I think we're just going to have to realize that and live with it because it seems like it is still going to be a problem. It is still year 1 in Ben Johnson, but there is still some accuracy problems. But that's the thing. That is where you got to look on the bright side of this. Just think of it. Like you said, Dad, we are 8-3, and we put up 31 points today, and there is still plenty to fix. How can you not be optimistic about Caleb Williams? For everyone out there wanting to write him off, go keep doing it because this guy he thrives under pressure. He loves it. And I have full faith in him. I don't care what happens. Same thing. He had that bad fumble and gave the Steelers a free defensive touchdown. And I'm not worried at one bit. The kid, guess what? The next drive, he bounce back, drives him down the field 90 yards and goes and scores a touchdown. The kid's a baller, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing, I'm becoming more and more of a Caleb Williams fan, and I think everyone can probably notice that the more we talk about it over the weeks as the season goes on. But like even today in this game, when we got the ball back there, I don't know, what was it, 2 minutes left or whatever it was, and we had kind of that quick 3 and out, and we only took like I think 45 seconds off the clock when we really needed to take more off of it. We just gotta figure a way. And I know we say key moments. He's been, coming with touchdown drives and winning the game for us or getting us down there in field goal range. But it's a little bit of that makes me a little nervous, especially with the inconsistency in the ball sometimes. You gotta wonder why. But again, like you said, first year in Ben Johnson's system, he's still learning, he's still growing as a QB. But if this is what our second year QB looks like, imagine what it looks like in 5 years from now. It's going to be great.
Sign me up for every bit of it. Like you said, I think people need to take a step back. I know when you're watching the game, it's easy to, get pretty mad and, oh my God, why'd he miss that throw? I hear you. But when you win the game, then what you do is you look at it and you go, look at all the missed opportunities out there, and you still won the football game. Yeah. This isn't the old Bears where we're dissecting little plays and be like, well, if that play was made, we win the football game, but we didn't make it. No, now you win a football game, and there's still so much meat left on the bone with this offense. I mean, if you're scoring 30-plus points and there's still stuff to nitpick, it's you're in a pretty good spot. I mean, seriously. This and like Ben Johnson says, we keep saying it. I can't stress it enough. We want to play our best ball come December and January. If Caleb puts it all together come then, it'll be worth all of this. Yep. All of this, we're missing fire, but still winning games. It will be worth every single second of it.
We're about to find out in 5 days.
Yep.
I mean,
I was about to say, the Eagles are going to be a tough matchup, and let's see. It's on commercial right now. I was about to give us a live update of the Eagles. I know they were up 7-0. A.J. Brown scored the opening touchdown. But like you said, next week will be a really good test.
This week.
Oh, yeah, this week. They'll be facing the former Super Bowl defending champions. Their defense is playing lights out right now, keeping their offense has been struggling, but that defense for Eagles has been carrying them away. But honestly, with Caleb today, the one thing that really impressed me, and we started to see it a lot last week too, those deep dig routes and in routes, Caleb is firing with anticipation, and a lot of them are on time. And that's what you would see in Detroit, a lot of deep crossing routes, and they're just getting chunk plays, and you can't do anything about it. You're starting to see Caleb do that these past couple weeks. He had a lot last week in that game in the Vikings, and he had a several today, just deep in-breaking routes, and he's putting them on the money. So you love to see it. I don't really – and obviously I'll give my props to Ben Johnson. The guy game plans. He knows what the heck he's doing out there. There was a fourth down, not our last one, but the one before where, yes, we were right at midfield, but it was fourth and like an inch. I would have loved Ben Johnson just to go for it. At that point, too, it was still a 10-point game. You go for it, end the game. But you know what? The Bears defense stepped up. The offense couldn't close them games themselves, so the defense stepped up. Shout out to Jaquan Brisker batting that ball down. Either way, though, I mean, Mason Rudolph's probably that ball was bad down, because if you watch the replay, Nashon Wright jumped that route, and it might have been a pick six on DK Metcalf. It might have been another Nashon Wright interception.
Yeah, and speak of Brisker, too, like the play before then, he was like a second off from Zach and Rudolph. And then, he follows up on the next one and jumps up, tips the ball, and the rest is history, as we know already. But, I mean, just think about a year ago. Where were we a year ago this
we
week?
We were currently on a 5 or 6 game losing streak at this point. Yeah. It was bad. It was doom and gloom.
And Eberflus is 4 days away from losing his job and doesn't know it yet. But here we are, 8-3.
Yep. Listen, if we had to go through that last year, which was a very painful season, the amount of one score, bad game management by our head coach to lose to get to this point, I'll sign this up 9 times out of 10. This getting Ben Johnson, like I said, dude, this guy wins the Super Bowl here. Whenever Kevin Warren finally decides to put a shovel in the ground, Ben Johnson should be the first statue that is built outside of that stadium, because this guy is indeed our savior. And you know what? I ask myself, what did we do to deserve Ben Johnson? I mean, maybe all the year, of losing, we did deserve it. And thankfully, he believed in Caleb, and thankfully, he is a Chicago hometown kid. What better way to coach your football team that you grew up, in that city? So shout out to Ben Johnson. Like I said, for the offense, I think Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson deserve the credit today. Like I said, the receivers all pretty much were right around 50 to 60 yards, all of them. So, I mean, obviously, DJ Moore, good job on the 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown, I will give him props. That was a good, tight, contested catch. But once again, he's still trying to catch the ball with his body, which you don't like to see. But, DJ has had a quiet year this year, so I'll give him some props as well on the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But let's hop into the defense. We talked about the offense, but the defense definitely deserves their credit as well. I mean, the 2 guys to talk about, Nashon Wright, Montez Sweat, 2 big games. And then obviously I didn't really realize it during the game. I'm like, oh my God, these linebackers. But hey, to lead the team in tackles, that is something to be proud of as well. It's going to be interesting to see how Ben Johnson gives out these game balls in that locker room speech, because I feel like there's a couple different people you could give game balls to, but Ben Johnson usually keeps it short and sweet. He usually gives out 2, one to the offense, one to the defense. So on the defense, he's going to have some different ones to choose from, which coming into the game, we were just like, Dennis Allen deserves the game ball if we win this game.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I don't know, I don't, when Dennis Allen was looking at his roster for this game and thinking about the game plan and scheming up what he's going to do, I don't know how he came up with that. So great leadership on his behalf, to be able to say, we'll figure it out, next man up. And he did it. I mean, he really did, because you look at that defense any other year, Steelers throw out 50 points on us.
Yeah. Any other coach too, like you said, it's not just any other defense, it's any other coach. Yeah. The stuff, it's not even just this game. What he's had to do this whole year with continuously having multiple pieces out and putting together game plans, getting the guys ready. I mean, he deserves a lot of credit. And honestly, Ben Johnson might give him the game ball, honestly, because coming up with a scheme in this game with 6 starters out, it's insanity.
Deserved. Deserved.
It is definitely deserved. But I think that's pretty much it. If we want to hop in maybe to our actual MVPs, we predict them in our pregame show, but we can head over to after the game, our postgame, and give out who our game balls actually go to. I'll let you kick it off. Let's hear your offense and defensive game balls.
Oh, that's a tough one for me. I'm gonna give it to Trapillo.
Okay.
And we talked about that already, right? I always like doing the unsung heroes. And we were worried when we heard that he was starting. But he stepped up, did his job. We didn't hear his name or number called during the whole game. And I think because of that, he earned that offensive game ball, specifically because of who he was going against on that defensive side of the ball. I mean, that was a pretty tall task to ask that rookie to do. And he did a good job. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go Montez Sweat. I mean, another 2-sack plus performance. You got the strip. Just a great job by Montez.
Yeah, no, I agree. Those 2 guys are definitely deserved. And I like that you're giving Trapillo a game ball. His first NFL start. Doesn't know the whole week because Theo Benedict was a questionable game time decision. Really didn't know if he was going to be playing. Prepared probably like he was going to be in there or having to come in at some point. The guy goes in there, does his job. like you said, goes unnoticed. But when you don't have your name called as a lineman, that's a bright side. You don't ever want to be talked about in a broadcast, because if you do, 9 times out of 10, it's for bad reasons. So shout out to Trapillo. And then I agree with you. Montez Sweat, he had a very rough year last year. It was starting to look like a bad contract giving him that amount of money, but he's well on pace for a double-digit sack season this year, and he continues to heat up. Last week he was kind of quiet, didn't have a sack. Today he bounces back with 2 of them and a strip sack. So you'll take that any day of the week. When it comes to my MVPs, just like I said in the pregame, like you already given me my credit for, I nailed it head on. My MVPs, Caleb Williams, said he was going to have a good game, put this team on his back today, and he did just that. Outside of that one play we've already talked about, I thought he played a great game, did his job, made sure they were in a winning position come the end of the game. And my defense MVP, we kind of just talked about on the defense. I said in the pregame too, it's going to Dennis Allen. This guy coming up with a game plan with 6 starters out. I don't know how he doesn't get a game ball. It doesn't matter. Nashon Wright definitely deserves one as well, and we can maybe both put a game ball together and give him one. But Dennis Allen deserves that game ball, getting this team ready to play, a team that you just don't have 6 starters. It's hard as a coach. I mean, yeah, it's next man up, but with 6 different people out there, the communication that goes on. Hey, they're switching and disguise and stuff in Dennis Allen's defense, and to know what you got to do with different people in there, it's a props to him and getting the guys prepared.
Yeah, I think since you're the stat master, I'm gonna drop a little knowledge on you, since you gave Dennis Allen the game ball, and it is very fitting that he gets it, because last year we talked about Eberflus, our head coach, who called the defensive plays last year, and everyone said he was the defensive-minded guru. Well, in the Cowboys, with arguably a better defense on paper, right? They're giving up 250 points this year, and 49% of the time their opponents are scoring on them, and they have one of the worst defenses in the league. So kudos to Dennis Allen, well-deserved game ball. Not only what he's done in this game, but all the games, because, it literally has every week been a laundry list of defensive players that are out, and he continues just to find a way, which is amazing. Yeah,
no, it is definitely deserved. I'm glad we have Dennis Allen. Like we said, I'll live and die on the sword of, blitz every play or blitz a lot. And, you might give up some big plays. Instead of watching Eberflus just say, we're going to drop back and play our zone and only rush 4 people, even though we can't get to the quarterback. Dennis Allen, he's like a normal person. He understands common sense. Hey, we're not getting pressure. Well, guess what? I'm going to send 1 more. And if we're still not getting pressure, I'm going to send 2 more. The guy understands football. He understands common sense. It's not rocket science. So many times under the Eberflus era, when they're playing defense, how many times we're like, all right, blitz, we're not getting any pressure. You have to change something up. And he would never change anything up. Dennis Allen just understands football, and this coaching staff that Ben Johnson put together, we haven't talked about it enough, but they deserve a lot of credit as well, and Ben Johnson does, for assembling the troops, getting at all the moving pieces around, from Antoine Randall L. hyping up the team, from Dan Rochar in the offensive line, to Dennis Allen, to Eric Bieniemy, Declan Doyle. You can continue to spiral off these names, and obviously it's all credit to Ben Johnson, but these coaches deserve the credit too for doing their job.
Yeah, they're doing a remarkable job. And even when Swift lost that ball, and, there's probably some controversy of, shouldn't the whistle have been blown for forward progress? But Bieniemy, when Swift came off on that sideline, he did not care and didn't want to hear it, and definitely gave DeAndre an earful after that.
Yeah, and honestly, now that you said that, that might be part of the reason Monangai had more carries today, and it might have been because of that, and I like that. You're not going to hold on to the football? Okay, we'll go to the guy from Rutgers that never fumbled in his college career, not one time, and he still hasn't fumbled in the NFL. So we'll go with the guy that takes care of the football and isn't going to, hurt us. But it was kind of a bogus thing. But at the same time, hold on to the football. It doesn't matter. Guess what? You hold on the football, they don't get a chance of, oh, we have the fall 50-50 call. Was it dead? Were you down? No. You held on to the football and you didn't lose it. So it definitely makes sense. And, one other thing, too, talking about this coaching staff, it's just crazy from last year to this year. How many coaches did Eberflus hire that were fired because of they're doing stuff outside of the building that shouldn't be done? That's on Eberflus. That's bad hiring. Look
that
at
happened in his first year.
I was about to say
before we even started the season, they were fired a defensive coordinator.
I was about to say there was a defensive coordinator fired 2 weeks into the season. There's our running back coach. He's gone because he's doing something illegal or inappropriate outside the building. Like this culture and this whole team change, it's honestly, it has done a complete 180. And it usually, you've seen it with the Lions when they hired Dan Campbell. They didn't get everything clicking right away. It took time. The amount of time that the Bears have flipped this completely, it deserves a lot of credit. And like I said, obviously you're 8-3, so the goal is to make the playoffs. But whatever happens on here on out, this season is already a success. I heard some show or some talk host talking about this. The Bears are getting to the point of their schedule where when you win, it's starting to be gravy because coming into this season, by the way, too, today the Bears crossed their line. Their line today on over-under wins was 7.5. They beat it, and they have 6 games left in the season. Yeah. This team, it's remarkable how much it has flipped from last year to this year, and it's crazy. I mean, I think we're both in shock. You can sit here and say, I had 15-2. No, you got to be in a little bit of disbelief in some of this.
No. Total, I believe from the beginning.
Yeah. But I think that'll do it for the show. A lot of good combos in here when it comes to Tyreek and the Nashon Wright controversy, the CJ Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon controversy. There's a lot of different hot topics, and it's a good thing, though, for the Bears. It's not hot topics that are like, oh, no, the ice is about to break and we're about to go drowned. It's good topics to have, and it's nice as Bears fans to talk about good things, not bad things. So, and like you said, every week it just feels so good, like to win. And another 4-game winning streak this team goes on. And if the Bears lose next week, they're not going to, but if they do, I do have a conspiracy, but I will keep you guys on edge, and you guys will have to tune in next week to find out what my prediction is if the Bears do lose next week, because there's a little bit of a pattern going on. That's the only hint I will give you. But I think that'll do it for this show. As always, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. We do pregame, postgame shows, and always breaking news shows. It'll definitely get interesting down the stretch here. Maybe before the playoffs, if the Bears do make it, maybe we do a little playoff bracket, get that out to you guys, give our predictions of what we think is going to happen in the playoffs. And then, as always, too, our social media is down below. TikTok, Twitter are the main two we mostly use. We have a Facebook page. If any of you old heads are out there, I know it's kind of a older generation app for Facebook, but we post on there as well. Keep you guys updated with what's going on throughout the week. But that'll do it for this show, unless you got anything you want to throw on top of there, Dad.
I just want to say thanks for bringing me along on this ride with you and doing this with you. The 2 hours a week that we do this and we talk about the Bears, it's really been a joy, and not only just the time we get to spend together, but also just watching you develop and your knowledge that you share. It's pretty unbelievable, and super proud of you and what you're doing with this.
Yep. Thank you, Dad. And I appreciate you being on here. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's fun. We just get to talk Bears, watch games together like we always do. And now we're just talking about it on top of it. It's a lot of fun. It makes it more intriguing to watch because we got to tune into all the little details and got to remember our thoughts. But we just come on here, talk about the Bears, something we both share, and I absolutely love it. And when they're winning, it's even better.
It makes it super easy.
I was about to say, just think back to week 2 when we're 0-2 and we're like, oh, this is going to be a long season of doing podcasts. But when the Bears win, it makes them that much better. And hey, when they do lose, it's still fun to talk about because we can talk about our frustrations of what we don't like and what we do like. But when they're winning, it's like a cherry on top. And we haven't been used to it in Chicago in some time, but it's definitely well-deserved. And for all you Bears fans out there, enjoy it. Don't let anybody tell you the Bears don't deserve this, that they're not a good football team. A good football team 11 weeks in isn't first in their division and 8-3. That's not a bad football team. That's not luck. That happens for a reason. Yeah, is there some lucky plays that go the Bears' ways? For sure. But at the same time, you can't be 8-3 without being a good football team and first in your division. So on that note, I'll leave you guys on that. But as always, Bear down.